The last thing I ever want to do is criticize someone who's looking for the truth, who wants to understand what this reality is really about. I do feel that a lot of people are doing things wrong. So let me lay something out for you. I'm going to give you 4 dates. Let's 1970. Well, they landed on the moon in 1969, but for simplicity, we're just going to say 1970. 1970, 1985, 2000, 2015. 4 dates, 4 years. So 1970, they land on the moon, and they supposedly had a color camera, a higher definition, better quality color camera. It was burnt out within the first minute. So all we have is this fuzzy black and white picture because they didn't have the foresight to actually have a proper setup to communicate or to transmit the most important date in human history. Disgusting. 15 years later, 1985, we began the transition to full computer generated graphics for movies. This being mainly The Abyss, Terminator, the original, Terminator 2. Right around 85, we're able to create completely within inside the realm of a computer, a digital machine, humans, skin texture, everything. Now, this may not have been done in real time, and as they say, it took months to render just a minute of this high resolution, ultra high quality humans in the digital realm. 15 years later, 2000, NASA begins to switch to HD, meaning that their cameras on the ISS and the cameras on the shuttle are now in high resolution. This is good. This is bad. This is good because now we can see what they're hiding, between the fuzzy lines of the low resolution camera. Because in HD we can zoom in, we can slow down, and we can study. But this is bad. This is bad, meaning that NASA has the confidence that they can show their simulation in high resolution. Now, we can still study this, but we have to study the real time, or what they call real time video. We have to catch it before it goes into the archives. If we don't catch it before it goes into the archives, your evidence is gone now. So, 2015, 15 years later, NASA decides to go back and take their archival footage and retouch it, remaster it, if you will. This includes the original Apollo landing, Apollo 11, and they released this. It's not that much better quality, honestly, if you go and see it. You compare the original to the remastered black and white footage of Apollo 11. So what does all this mean? This means as technology develops, and you can simply look up the corporate roadmap of NVIDIA or the corporate roadmap of AMD to see how their technology is improving. NVIDIA themselves admit that they have way more advanced technology at their disposal, but their competition, mainly Intel and AMD, can't hold a candle to them. So they have no incentive to release the technology because their current technology on the market already surpasses both Intel and AMD. AMD and is the only competition in the graphic market to NVIDIA. And NVIDIA has also perfected global lighting, where they can simulate entire worlds with accurate lighting from all different angles. It's amazing stuff. So we look at this roadmap of what NVIDIA is capable of, and we compare it to the evolution of what NASA shows us. Now, this isn't done on a simple home computer. But you do not need a supercomputer. All you need is a modest cluster of 5 or 6 computers, each one rendering one specific aspect of the graphics. We need to catch this stuff before it goes into the archives. So instead of you playing your video games and saying how Fortnite shows the firmament, or this game shows that the earth is flat, or this movie shows that we've been lied to, get out of the movie theater, turn on NASA TV, and watch that. There's a lot of good flat earthers who agree. Jeranism went as far as even spending thousands of dollars to get archival footage. He knows the answers are in the archives. So, what else is bad is you will notice that there's less and less glitches being shown on the ISS. They're perfected their simulation. So we must go back to look before NASA perfected the simulations. I emailed NASA, or put in a request, an information request, and I asked them, where's all the footage for the ISS construction? Why did you remove it from your website? It was there last year. Where is it now? I wanted to make a video. Their response was that they're remastering all the video. This was 2-3 years ago. Where the hell's the video, NASA? You said you were remastering all your archival footage. The only thing you've released are a couple Apollo missions. Are you doing this like chronologically? You didn't explain that. So, if we look at the speed of technology and how it's advanced, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So, I have, next is a video that's from the ISS, and it shows another very important aspect besides the glitches. It shows the bloodline. The bloodline meaning these people are all related and they're military. Now, NASA does make a point to put non-military, and civilian scientists in these missions. But what they don't tell you is who's in control of the missions. It's all military. The biggest enemy to the state is a well-read man. Now watch this video coming up next. You'll see what I'm talking about. The bloodline. And they flaunt it. NASA may be able to hide the glitches, but the camera cannot hide the ego of the military. Watch the video.
Soldier and physician right there at Fort Sam Houston. My ties to that area go back several decades. I'm the son of a retired Air Force Down Corps officer, and my father was stationed at Lackland Air Force Base at one time. So I became familiar with the area back in the 1980s, and then in my own career, of course, as a medical corps officer, my professional military and medical education have taken me to Fort Sam Houston and Brooke Army Medical Center multiple times. And then now, of course, as a staff physician in the Department of Emergency Medicine. When I was selected as an astronaut in 2013, I decided to hang my hat and credentials right there for me. It was a real honor with you all. Hey, before we start asking the first question, look at this. Fire away with the questions.
And my question for you today is, how did your military training help get you ready for your time in space? And go Army, beat Navy.
Indeed, it is beat Navy season. I'm 100% product of a military education, from my undergraduate to my medical school to my residency training to my tactical and operational training. 100% product of the military system. And that was the decision I made first. Like I mentioned, I first made the decision to become a soldier, and then a physician, and then later an astronaut. And those, I made the decisions in those orders for a reason. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to serve my country. I wanted to serve as a physician to soldiers. And everything that I have brought to the table as an astronaut of that experience.